All right. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about Kuali Coeus' pre-award functionality this morning. I will say that we refer to Kuali Coeus as KC because Kuali Coeus is too hard for us to say. So if you hear me say KC, KC, KC over and over and again, I'm obviously talking about Kuali Coeus. So the first thing is it's really easy for you guys to do this stuff yourself as well. I've got a web browser up on the screen, hopefully you can see, and I've just gone to www.kuali.org. And this is their main page, and on their main page you're going to see some pretty big buttons here, and one of them says Test Drive. So we're going to click there, and that'll bring you to a page that shows the two big products that they have released right now. One is the Kuali Financial System, which they started earlier, which is doing really well. It's in version 4 now, and the other is Kuali Coeus, which is currently in version 3.01. So we're going to go out and test drive Kuali Coeus 3.01. Make that full screen as well, so it's a little bit better. And I should give the caveat: we are working in a test environment here, so sometimes the Kuali folks who are working on stuff, they will make some changes, and sometimes some things won't work exactly right. But I've had really good luck so far with this, so hopefully we won't have a problem. So this is the look and feel of Kuali Coeus, such as it is. So it starts out with like a tabbed interface. So you'll see across the top here, we have a researcher tab, we have a unit tab. They refer to departments as units. Essential admin tab, maintenance and system admin tab. We're logged in as, well, we're not logged in at all yet, I should say. So as soon as we click on something, it's going to ask us to log in. So let's go ahead and do that. If I say create proposal or anything else, it's going to ask me for my credentials. The login for this application, as it comes out of the box, is quick start, and that gives you supervisor permissions to everything. And I'm going to go back to the other tabs because I just really wanted to show you how to do that, and then we'll recreate one in a second. I want to talk a little bit about what's on these tabs. So they did break this up into some kind of functional use. So the idea here is that, you know, if I'm faculty, I'm a researcher, so I would have this information here, so I'll be able to create a proposal, see my proposals that are en route, see all my proposals. I can search, obviously, for proposals, proposal logs, and institutional proposals, and we'll talk about the distinction of those three things in just a moment. But basically, those are your proposals. You can look for your awards. The protocol stuff is just recently added. The protocol IRB module came out in November, which is fantastic. So obviously, the section for your protocols here. Some quick links. If you've got some locking going on, you can unlock records that you may have locked, and you can set up some of your preferences. The unit has some things that aren't available. For example, you see that at a unit level, I can add an institutional proposal and a proposal log. That wasn't on the researchers tab because they're not really allowed to do that within the system out of the box. It's entirely up to you what they can and can't do, but the standard thought is that those are the things that happen at a unit level or department or central admin level. So that's why they show up here. And a proposal log, I'll cover that real quick. Proposal development, I'm sure, makes sense to you. So that's a module where you actually go in and you create the budget and you create all the information about the proposal and you run it through workflow. It's all internal until you obviously submit it to a sponsor. Proposal log is actually a way for you to capture information that's being done outside the system. So if you have somebody who's not comfortable with using Kuali Coeus, but they want to do everything on paper, or they want to do everything in Excel, or whatever that may be, for whatever reason, or there's a business process, a department that isn't going to adopt this, or some business reason why you can't do all of your stuff within proposal development, you have the ability to use the proposal log functionality. It's also useful for things like white papers and things that you're not really ever going to submit to a sponsor. So it holds the base information about a proposal. Proposal logs and proposal development ultimately become institutional proposal records. And what I mean by that is when you hit submit on a proposal development record, it takes a stamp of that proposal at that point and it creates this official institutional proposal record. And that's the record that all the reporting is done out of for your system. And that's the record that you'll go back to with an award. You'll go back to that institutional proposal record. There may be multiple proposal development records tied to something, but that's the one institutional proposal record that was related to that award. And proposal logs can actually be promoted to an institutional proposal. So if you started doing some work that you thought was going to be internal, you weren't ever going to submit, you put it in as a proposal log, that's all well and good. But if down the road you decide, oh no, we are going to submit that to a sponsor, we are going to have that as an official record, you can then create an institutional proposal record and merge it with a proposal log. So you have that information that you would be reporting out of one system throughout. It's very hard, obviously, to report both on proposal development and proposal log information since they have slightly different data in them. So basically what you get is one Rosetta Stone, as it were, for your proposals that all your reporting and information comes out of. The negotiation is not lit up on the screen yet because the negotiation module isn't coming out until December. The awards you can't create at a unit level, so it only shows the search, the magnifying glass. And then you've got conflict of interest protocols, which are obviously also being done at a different level. So this is and then we're going to flip over to the central admin where you see where awards is now lit up. They're able to do that. Award tracking and sub-awards are not yet released. I believe they're scheduled for late November, early December. And some of these other modules aren't as well. But they are on the way and coming soon, which is very exciting stuff. The maintenance and system admin are really for the people who are going to be your module administrators or your department administrators, the people who are going to do things like add budget category types or institutional rates, that kind of information. So like your code tables, think of it as that. And then you've got additional information for a system admin. They can put in the message of the day so that it shows up when they log in. People see stuff. You have things you want to communicate with your staff. It's a great way of getting that information out if they're going in every day. You can update your person extended attributes, which is things like, what college did somebody go to, what jobs have they had. There's a bunch of information that's behind the scenes that you can update from here. People obviously are allowed to update their own as well. Some configuration information. So this is more for the person who is like your person at your institution who is responsible for KC. They would be in this tab because they can modify the system entirely from here. But we're going to go back to the researcher because we want to talk about pre-award. So that's just kind of a real quick overview of what does the overall application offer. So we're going to go in and create a proposal, right? That's what everybody wants to see. So we'll start with that. The first thing I want to kind of let you know is, and I said this earlier in the other presentation, that KC is a document-based system. So this is a document called a proposal document, and it has all documents have certain core features. Now, the interesting thing is they don't put them all in the same place, depending on how they set them up. So some of these business documents are a little bit different, but they're going to have some standards, and those standards are things like a description, an organization document number in case there's some document number within this, and an explanation. These things are standard. And we'll get to the other pieces that are, because they actually put them downstream in this tab called Proposal Actions. But we're in the Proposal tab right now. So let's call this Demonstration Proposal. And please pardon my typing as well. So this is just a description for the document. This isn't the title of your proposal. This is just something that's kept internally. If you had another system that this came from or something else going on, some other numbering process, you can put that in here. This is an external number. This isn't your proposal number within the system. This is just a number that you keep, for yourself. And you can put in a detailed explanation. Wherever you see this pencil, it pops up a full screen window. So if you were pasting in a 3-page document, you could paste it in here and actually see that it went in successfully. You're not going to want to try and scroll through this window to see that. It would be really difficult to see. So that's a common feature throughout the application. This isn't required to get this through. The required fields are highlighted with an asterisk. The proposal number you can see is empty because it's created by the system. You can set up the process by which you want that to number. So if you've got a standard numbering process, like a couple letters and a number, or a number and letters, a number and numbers, you can set all that up within the system. So if you have it always is the first 2 numbers of the year of the proposal, for example, and then it's an incrementing number, you can set that up. Proposal type is required. I'm going to show you the stuff that's required to do anything. If we were to go to another tab right now within KC, it would actually throw us an error and tell us that there was an issue. Pardon me, I'm taking lots of drinks because I have an awful sore throat this morning. So we're going to put in that base information, and basically the information that's required is in these 2 panels. So you have to put the information that's required here and the information that's required down here. So we're going to pick these from a drop down. These drop downs are fully configurable as well. Some of them don't want to mess with some of the more standard ones because they do drive some functionality within the application. But I don't think you're going to change, some of these because obviously new and continuation are very common terms. The units are based on the hierarchy that's set up in the system. The system has very limited stuff, so we're going to grab one that's in there, but this would be a much longer list at your institution, obviously. The activity types, so we're going to say it's research, and this is my project. So we're going to put in a title. Again, we've got that pencil for creating a larger pop-up. So we need a sponsor code. So we're going to use, there's some more standard functionality. Here's your magnifying glass to go out and search for more information since let's say we don't know the sponsor code. If you did know it, it would pop up immediately. As soon as you put the number in and you tab out of the field, the sponsor would actually show up right underneath it so you'd know that you got it correctly. But we're going to go ahead and do a search. Okay, so first one, who wants to give me a sponsor? Pick a sponsor, any sponsor. Everybody's got me on mute, don't you?
NIH.
All right. So if it's NIH, we actually could type in sponsor name, national, but we're not going to do that. So we're just going to put in the acronym because we're pretty sure NIH is going to come up with NIH. We do a search. Again, this is all very standard functionality. So he's going to give you like a search criteria here. You put that information and click search. If you clicked search with nothing else, it would give you all the sponsors, so you'd see them all. This is the other important thing to know. This is something people run into this and they get a little bit confused. When this result set comes up, all you have to do is click on this return value. If you click on any of these other links, it's going to give you more details about sponsor types or about sponsor codes. You don't care about that. You just want to get this value back in. And their sponsor code is 000340. So we click on return value. It'll bring me back to the page that I originally was on. You can see it's populated that number, and now the sponsor shows up here. Now, if I had known, for example, that this was NSF, I typed 00500, and you notice that it updated NSF, right? So then we're going to put in our project start and end dates. And, I'm sure they wouldn't give you one that actually started today. They might give you one that actually was required to be submitted today, but we're going to put them in there for the ease of setting this up, and I don't want to waste too much of your time here. This is a 5-year proposal, so we've got it going from 4/13/11 to 4/12/2016. And you'll see where that has value as we're going along.
Chris, could I ask a question?
Sure.
This sponsor code, that's just a made-up number. Why wouldn't you use like a federal ID number or something?
You'll see that as we're going forward that there's more kind of detail about what information comes across. Let me show you that in just a second. But and I think it's mostly just because they're keeping it within their system, and you may not have all the same sponsors as somebody else. You may add sponsors. You can add sponsors to the system, so the numbers obviously are an incrementing number. So then you're going to be out of line as soon as somebody uses a different system. They don't have
So these sponsor codes are common across all client base?
They're common across the client base out of the box, but people may change them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.